Hello, welcome to another live stream. It's good to see you again. So I'm hoping the audio is okay. Seems to be fine, I think. Let me know if you can't hear it. So we're gonna go through another cue tonight. Hope you're all doing well. It's a cold, stormy night here on the south coast. You're hearing some music from a score I did called How Art Began, which was a BBC documentary about, presented by Anthony Gormley, in which he traveled around the world looking at early human art in cave paintings, Australian Aboriginal art, things like that. Just how early humans express themselves in an artistic way. It's really fascinating. This particular cue, he's at a cave in France, overlooking a valley. And the humans then, they would have been standing at the mouth of this cave, looking out over this valley, and there would have been, wild animals, herds of bison, or whatever you call them then. Just thousands, because they outnumbered humans, and there would have been the sound of thousands of hooves coming from the distance. And this, you can just imagine the humans being so transfixed by this, and so puzzled, and so scared, and so mystified by this huge display of force from these non-human creatures, and then going into their caves and just needing to paint on the walls to express their feelings about the fact that they had to go and confront these animals for food, etc., etc. Also just, I guess, out of respect. So today, also just before we go through the queue, there's a couple of things. There's a new plugin, to be careful what I say about this because there is an embargo. There's a new plugin coming from Newfangled Audio, which is really exciting, and I designed a couple of presets for it, so I'm quite excited by that. And that's coming out on the 23rd of January, so in a couple of days' time. Also, I have a new release coming out on Spotify in a couple of weeks, and it's called Rye Harbor, and I'll put a link to the pre-save in the description of this film. If you wanted to pre-save it on Spotify, feel free to do so. Again, it's for piano, but also with cello this time, gradually getting more expansive in my orchestration. So yeah, let's look at the cue. Let me fade this out. Okay, so Pro Tools. Now, this is from a show called, well, it's been called different things. In the time I was working on it, to be honest, I can't remember what the final name, but there were so many working titles, Win the Wilderness or The Claim. I think the working title was The Claim, and the end title is Win the Wilderness. It's a show set in Alaska, featuring people competing to win a house in the middle of nowhere for some reason, and the competition was basically surviving. The winner was the survivor. Anyone who didn't survive obviously didn't win. So let's listen. I think we've got visuals. I don't know if you can hear the wind outside. Hopefully you can hear that. There you go. So that was the pre-title sequence for what seems to be called Win the Wild. But I think even after that, what you just saw, they changed. Sorry, Life in the World. They changed it to something. It doesn't matter. You might have seen it, the series. This was 2019, pre-COVID. So what was interesting for me in doing this is I put a lot of effort into these pre-titles. Now, pre-titles, as you may already know, is basically the bit of, it's sort of like the teaser for the upcoming show, and it's usually around a minute and a half. This happens to be 2.5 minutes, which is extreme, and it comes before the titles, which you just saw. Over the top of this, there'd be a lot of talking, a lot of dialogue, a lot of comms. So there's the narrator saying what's coming up. So the art of pre-title music is to do something that's exciting, to do something that makes the audience feel like something's gonna happen, something not necessarily good, but something. There's a bit of anticipation, I think is the word I'm trying to think of. And also it has to do all this fitting underneath the dialogue, which in TV is sacred. You cannot get in the way. So music will be brought down, extremely down, in order for the words to be heard by the lowest common denominator in the audience, which is not, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean in terms of listening capability, if you know what I mean. So, however, I recorded an orchestra for this, well, strings. I used the FAMES project, which you might have heard of, FAMES, a Macedonian orchestra. Oh my God, I'm looking at this now, just thinking, I did this in such a hurry. That's the other thing about the pre-titles. It always comes at the end, right at the end. It's the last thing. And you have literally, well, in this case, I had a week to write the music, to get the music approved by the director, the series producer, the editors, the series editor, the commissioners, the channel. Everyone has to agree that this is the right music that they want. And then you have to make it sound like it's, the start of an expensive BBC TV series within a very short time scale. So orchestras like the FAMES orchestra are really good. FAMES project, I think it's called. As you can just basically send them the music and they record it and then they email it back to you, and you can be there through the internet. However, I happened to be, when we recorded this, when the Macedonians recorded this, I was in Germany, in Erfurt, in Germany, in an Airbnb with really bad Wi-Fi. And the way they do it is they have, you need two computers. You need a laptop. Well, you need your studio computer with a Zoom. Well, I think it was Zoom then. I can't remember. Might have been Skype. It was pre-COVID, so I can't remember before COVID. And then also the laptop. So you have one video chat with the control room. Well, sort of like the overseer, the organizer person. It was a I can't remember her name, but she was sort of the fixer of the session. She was organizing everything. And then you have another video chat with a conductor who was, and this was the end of the day. So the musicians are basically full-time employees, and they're in there all day recording different scores for different composers, and they get all sorts of music. And it's the end of the day, and they got this, and the double basses hated it. And the conductor was angry because I'd written tuning notes for low strings, and the Wi-Fi kept cutting out. And it got to the I had an hour allotted, and it got to the end of the hour, and basically, the last 15 minutes I couldn't hear anything. I could just see all these angry faces in the orchestra, and then they finished and my time was up and I couldn't hear it. So I just said, great, thank you. And then got to work. Luckily, it was very well played, I think, and sounded great and worked really well. So I just want to say hi to Antonio. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nice to see you. So also, this was, as I said, pre-COVID, and I had different sort of way of working then. Plus, Pro Tools did not have folder tracks back then. Yeah, so there are no folder tracks. I would have had a lot of folder tracks, I think, in a piece like this. What I did do is I think I took the Pro Tools session from Macedonia and bounced down the strings and then imported them into this project. And I don't know if I do it that way this time, but anyway, that's the way I've done it. So you can see, let's see what we've got. Oh yeah, we've got the dialogue there, which I could have played as well.
Escape.
Gives you an idea.
Here, one extraordinary home,
Okay.
built in the heart of the wild,
This is bad, but
could make the dream of a different life a reality.
okay. I shouldn't play that. That's just like the editor who cut the pre-titles, just doing the temporary voiceover. So that's not fair to play that. So you can see here I've got a few sample strings too. This looks like the Albion 1 strings and octaves. Which sounds nice. And Albion 1 string runs, which are very useful. Solo strings, I'm trying to think what that would have been. I think it's probably, I think that's the Olafur Arnud's string waves, possibly. They sound like that. Sound good. This sounds so nice. What else have we got that's not real? Man. This is something. String ensemble pits. Oh, nice. Chamber strings. Interesting. Okay. And then we've got some spiccato. Every film composer's favorite. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's why the low strings were angry. And I guess what I've done there is I've blended that with the real strings. Or maybe I muted the real strings. Anyway, then we have some timp. Some taiko. God, that sounds great. It's the old Hans Zimmer taikos with a bit of delay. Some decapitating. Okay, now I think I've talked about my favorite sort of bass sound for the... Oh, wow, what was that? For bass synths, it's the Native Instruments Massive, and I've just got a basic sort of sine wave that I've jazzed up. But that's something else. Just looking to see if I've committed anything here. So there, that is the Native Instruments Massive patch. Anyway, okay, and then the piano. I used to really enjoy listening to the soundtracks of Christoph Beck, and he did films like the Hangover trilogy, which I think the music, is so incredible. Before that, though, he did some really cool. God, what was it called? Anyway, I think he sort of set the zeitgeist for fast arpeggiated pianos, which then became really popular in film and TV, and then now it's too much. Now, so if you listen to this. I mean, it's good because it's energy. But if you imagine a real piano player doing that for 2.5 minutes, it's just not healthy. Oh, there's a lot more. Okay, taiko bounce. Interesting. That's cool. Hans Zimmer taiko bounce going through a moga foga. And we've got some scraped cymbals. Is that me? No, I did record a whole library of scraped cymbal sounds. I brought some brushes and I've got a few cymbals and they're so useful. I use this a lot. This is a secret source. Perfect. It says so much, so simply. And of course, look, if we just, there's a cymbal swell and a Okay, so any more people in the chat? No. Antonio, are you still here? Or have you gone? All right, let's listen to the real stuff. Now, like I said, I would have had folders. Here there are basses. I mean, that's a lot of basses. And why is that muted? Why can't we hear anything? I know why, I think. Okay, all right. Okay, I don't know if there are any string players watching this, listening to this. This is why I had some angry faces in the strings. I mean, it sounds fine. If we mix it with the sampled spiccato. I think it's cool. The thing is this, I am a musician too. I am a session musician. I play saxophone and I've played in sessions where you have to really get or push through the limits of your stamina as a musician with your instrument. And I never complain, I just do it. So whenever a musician complains about something I've written, automatically I default to the fact that I must be wrong and I've written something that's not playable and I have I've just done something wrong, especially then, pre-COVID. Now, however, me as a musician, if someone gives me something difficult to play, okay, maybe I'll have a sort of chat to my fellow musicians and say, what is this? But I will play it, and I will nail it because that's what we're getting paid to do. Now, I don't know if it's a string player thing or if it's my writing for strings, but quite often I annoy string players. Let's just say I aim to do better. Okay, so I muted those strings doing that. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got some cellos. They sound really good though. I mean, oh, there's more spiccato element. Let's hear that again with violas too. Who doesn't love violas? Oh, again, muted spiccato. Yeah. I mean, there's something. Let's just find those Oliver Arnold strings. Oh, let's put those in. Okay, so those were the. Have we got basses in there? Okay, so here are the basses, cellos, and violas. Yeah. Okay. And let's bring in the violins. So, I'm okay. Why are they muted? Okay, yeah, it's not that the violins were playing the fast spiccato, it's just that the microphones were picking it up, so I had to mute that. So obviously, I recorded the different string sections in different passes. So we would have done long notes pass and a short fast note pass. Luckily, because they couldn't play the short fast notes. Anyway, let's mute that again. Here we go. So these are the close mics. Let's bring in some of the stereo room mics. I'd say that there's a selection of stereo room mics here. I said it brings it alive. Now the outrigger. Here we go. I think we should bring the decatry in. Coming up. Sounds nice. There's another sampled instrument. Let's bring the BBC, which I must have only just probably got for this project. The BBC's orchestra violins. Let's bring them in. How's that? I love the bow noise, the rosin. Some more strings here. Oh, sorry, missed it. Fine. Okay. I love these dogs. Yeah. Sometimes you just latch on to something in the image and that just makes you happy, and it keeps you going. The dogs for this were for me. Yeah, it's funny. You just latch onto something, and then that becomes sort of the driving force for the whole thing. Okay, so I was going to say something. I can't remember. Okay, so there you have it. That is another cue. I promised I'd go through another one, and there we go. Yeah, we could look at the. Oops, that's weird. Let's look at the old mixer. Nothing much going on. I think a lot of processing was done, and then I bounced down tracks to save on processing power, because I suspect that I worked on some of this on my laptop when I was in the Airbnb in Germany, and my laptop's not as powerful as my studio computer, so I would have been saving CPU The only thing I've used that's mildly interesting is the decapitator. I've used that on sampled strings, the spiccato strings, and also, as we said before, the taiko. Just say goodbye to them for a second. Stems, right. Stem A, this one here. There's nothing much going on, just a compressor on the bus. What's going into stem A though? Stem A is solo strings there. I don't know if you can see the routing. Interestingly, that's the only thing in stem A. Stem B seems to be all the other strings. So if we mute total, my brain stopped working then. Mute everything. So this is stem B. So we've got some compression. This is interesting. The Gold Fuss. Do you all know this plugin? Sort of uses machine learning apparently to EQ things. So I've got it just set to tame and recover, which means in the opinion of this plugin, it obviously needs to raise the high upper frequencies. Let's just see. Let's bring that down. Okay. Oh, wow. Let's brighten it. I like it without this doing anything at all, but anyway, put it back to that. And then I have a bit of reverb on those strings. Okay. Oh, and okay, I must have been reading about EQing strings and thought about lowering the high, EQing the reverb, which I've obviously done. Let's just bypass this. That's really nice. Probably I would have left it like that if I was doing this now. Let's bring everything else in. To all my brass player friends, I'm sorry. I don't know why, but this is making me think of the theme to Blake 7. I have no idea why. I often think about the theme to Blake 7. I don't know if you know Blake 7. It's sort of 80s English TV. It's amazing. If you haven't seen it, check it out. The theme, it was incredible. And, I used to watch it as a kid. There's the thing about TV in the 70s and 80s. Not that I watched TV in the 70s. Not that I can remember watching TV in the 70s. But in the 80s I could. And there were themes that just stuck and stayed in your head forever. Blake 7 is one of them. Black Beauty, The Littlest Hobo, Love Boat. Anyway, I digress. Some others do have him. The Piccolos. So look, I I forgot to go over the brass samples before. I'm not sure what they are. I committed something. It's probably Albion 1. If we look on the left in the track list there, you can see Albion 1 high brass, Albion 1 mid short, Albion 1 low brass long, and that's what you're hearing. So that's that stem, and then this stem is piano, and then okay, and on the master bus, you can see I've got the bus compressor first. Nowadays, I would put that last, just saying. And then my faithful, trusty BX Master Desk. I love this thing. I use it for everything. And a bit of reverb on the very end. In fact, 9.269% wet reverb. My favorite gold plate. This is what I tend to put on the master bus at the very end, just to sort of gel things together if I feel it needs it. Yeah. If this was Blake 7 now, there'd be a nice chord pad coming in. Anyway, now just to explain about the stems here, I've got 5 stems, Master A to Master E in my template, Pro Tools template. I mix those, so yeah, everything is routed into those. And they go into the main out, as I call it. The dialogue is basically film track sound. I would deliver to the dub, the mix. I would deliver those 5 stems and a total mix as well. They would use the complete mix, but if there were any issues, as there probably would be in something like this, they would then go into the stems and use the stems. So they, for example, let's go back a bit. So I imagine what might happen. So there's going to be talking, blah 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 blah. They might want to bring those strings down a bit, just so you can hear my voice properly. You can see you have all this leeway. Because when it comes to the human voice actually takes up so much bandwidth. See, this is an example, I'm distorting the microphone because I'm talking so much louder because of all that racket, Anyway, that is that. I hope you enjoyed that. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed that because I did, and as I said before, let's just go back to. As I said before, I quite enjoy doing this and I'm happy to do it. And if it's valuable for you, then that's great. Going through these cues like this. I don't know if you can hear the wind. It's incredible. There's a full-on storm out there. The wind is howling, and then there's this music, and it's cold. It's quite cool. Also, I wanted to say I have a sample pack that I've made available that involves all the I've sort of accumulated some samples from all the films I've made that involve the Lyra 8, and I've created this library of audio samples. So you get a lot of the Lyra that's being processed through different pedals and things that you see on my YouTube channel, and I put a link in the description to this film. So if you fancy that, it's available. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by my own music. This is the same soundtrack. This cue happens to be called The Art That Makes Us, from the How Art Began soundtrack. This is another string recording I did. I really like this. Recorded this at Aerodel. It's coming in at some point. Let's skip forward a bit. Oh no, I did. This is about 5 string players. Anyway, thank you again. If you want to see more, please subscribe to get notified of my upcoming live streams, and please like and leave comments. I will see you next time. Thank you.